Join the Wilder-cor, lass. Spend all your days slogging through stinking mud, flesh-eating vines, and all manner of wretched corruption, trying to find a sure path through a maniac's fever dream. Do this with nothing but a rusty tin pot on your head to hold off the rain, surrounded by 1,000 baying lunatics trying to skin you alive and feast on your liver. Do this for an entire crusade season without complaint, and then watch some jumped-up prig on a horseback claim all the glory without mentioning he'd have been grot food 10 times over if it weren't for you. Truly, there ain't no more glorious occupation in all the realms. Grizzled and realm-weary, yet utterly focused on their mission, the Wilder-cor hunters boldly plunge into some of the most SIGMAR-forsaken hellholes in existence alongside their trusty hounds, relying upon grit, comradeship, and well-aimed crossbow bolts to see them through. The Wilder-cor is a subdivision of the Sigmarite war machine, entirely dedicated to reconnaissance, skirmish operations, and pathfinding. Unlike the stolid shield sloggers of the frontline formations, Wilder-cor hunters travel light and move fast, eschewing protection in favor of agility and stealth. A common saying amongst the steel helms is that these incredibly tough rangers smell like rhinoxen, drink like fish, and fight like cornered skaven, and it's hard to discredit any of these accusations. Living and fighting in the deadliest wilderness for weeks on end, lacking artillery support and often basic supplies, Wilder-cor hunters are experts in forage, fieldcraft, and improvisation. And few know better than they the hazards of the untamed realms, and more importantly, how not to succumb to them. Typically, Wilder-cor detachments function as the eyes and ears of the Stormbringer host. They range ahead and to the flanks of the armored columns in skirmish formations, creeping quietly through the underbrush and keeping wary watch for deadly hazards of foes waiting to descend upon their comrades. In the event that some natural or unnatural phenomenon blocks the army's route, it is the Wilder-cor's duty to find a way past. This might mean locating a suitable place to ford one of Ger's notoriously deadly rivers, navigating through a forest of shadowy illusions, or circumventing a sprawl of chaos-mutated vegetation, all lashing tentacles and jabbering disembodied mouths. Needless to say, it is rare that soldiers of the Wilder-cor go more than a day without some deadly skirmish, whether against packs of chaos raiders, skulking grots, or flesh-hungry monsters. Armed with crossbows, favored over fusils because of their relative subtlety, and an assortment of spears, axes, and blades, hunters meet these threats with a gritty determination, working as a team to take down foes that are often far more powerful than they. Limb-shattering traps, clever diversions, and ambushes are used to keep the enemy off balance, while the Wilder-cor sharpshooters keep up a withering hail of missiles. When the balance of power shifts too far against them, the Wilder-cor fades into the shadows, sacrificing soldiers where necessary to delay the enemy and ensure the message of imminent danger is relayed to the main army. Mortality rates are notoriously high amongst the Wilder-cor, even by Free Guild standards, yet there is never a shortage of new recruits, in large part because the Wilder-cor are granted an autonomy that would be unthinkable among the other ranks, a necessity owing to their extended separation from lines of communication. Their leaders make full use of this freedom, often creatively interpreting orders they deem to be ill thought out or just plain suicidal, in a fashion that would likely get them court-martialed if carried out in front of a superior officer. Regular Wilder-cor soldiers revel in their reputation as dirty, unsavory troublemakers, and fights often break out between them and the Steelhelms and Fusiliers who form the core of most Stormbringer Crusade armies. Perhaps the most vital tools in the arsenal of these expert trackers are their trailhounds. Legendarily bad-tempered, these stocky, powerful canines are bred for aggression and a stubborn unwillingness to succumb to even the most gaping wound. Rank-and-file dawners find their sudden bouts of frenzied barking less than comforting, which amuses the Wildercorps no end. Yet, although they might appear near rabid to those unused to handling them, these hounds are intensely loyal and intelligent, capable of covering many miles at full speed, and able to sneak up on a cruel boy sentry and bite out their throat with barely a sound, other than the crunch of a collapsing windpipe. These remarkable beasts also possess an incredibly potent sense of smell. Should any of the Wildercorps targets manage to evade an initial flurry of crossbow bolts, they will be swiftly run to ground and ripped to pieces. Though they perform a crucial support role for Stormbringer Crusades advancing into enemy territory, the remit of the Wildercorps stretches beyond the battlefield. Occasionally, these soldiers will be assigned missions of a vital importance that take them far away from their crusade, whether pursuing intelligence, dealing with threats that would be better handled by a discreet company of experts than by raw firepower, or providing support to nascent SIGMAR settlements in need of their hard-earned knowledge. Those whom these grizzled rangers fight beside rarely warm to them. Their grim, violent lives of never-ending discomfort and hardship render them scornful of outsiders. Yet only the ignorant would doubt the Wildercorps' dogged tenacity in battle, and only a true fool would wish to march into enemy territory without a veteran band of hunters ranging unseen ahead of them, guiding their way. Wilder-cor hunters scorn the ornate arms and armor of many elite free guild formations, for such elaborate creations would rarely last half a season out in the wilderness without being pitted, scarred, or swallowed whole by some rampaging monster. They favor rugged axes that can be used for more than simply hewing the heads from Oryx or Chaos worshippers. Such weapons can just as easily be employed to hack a path through impenetrable undergrowth or fell a tree for firewood. Trogslayer spears are polearms often handed out with the largest and strongest veteran leather hides. These weapons have proven especially good at keeping an oversized horror at bay while the trailhounds do their work. When it comes to ranged weapons, crossbows are often chosen over the black powder guns commonly wielded by the God King's mortal soldiery, for a bolt kills quietly, always a boon when you are surrounded by the enemy. These range in size from the heavy arbalest to sleek bows that can be loosed and loaded in just one hand or wielded in pairs. Hunters wear a variation of the familiar steel helmet of the free guild formations, though their need to move swiftly and quietly means that they eschew the plate and chain of a regular infantryman. Instead, they wear gambesons and half-cloaks of toughened leather, which they treat with waxes and alchemical oils to fend off the rain and harden them against incoming blows. Strung about a hunter's armor are all manner of items essential to survival out in the hinterlands. Knives, tinderboxes, vials of aqua guranis, spare quarrels, and, most importantly of all, a flask filled with Hammerhallian whiskey or another tipple of choice. Scarred, grizzled, and always mud-smeared from long weeks in the wild, the wardens of the Wildercorps formations radiate an aura of ruthless competence. With axe or crossbow in hand, these master rangers have battled their way through some of the most horrendous environments in the mortal realms, wading through monster-infested boglands and crossing deserts racked by storms of soul-melting magic. They endured sickness, injury, hunger and loss, and still they managed to drag their comrades back to civilization. Few mortals in all the realm know better than a Wildercorps warden how to predict sudden extremes of weather, how to find a swift route across the roughest terrain, or when to place a crossbow bolt in order to drop a charging orc. Theirs may not be a glamorous role, but those under a warden's command would take an arrow for them in an instant. For some Wildercorps wardens their greatest weapon is not made of steel or hardwood, but of corded muscle, sharp teeth and ruling ferocity. These individuals form a particularly firm bond with their trailhounds, so much so that they seem to share an almost psychic connection with the beasts. With a snap of their fingers, they can order their loyal companions to go for the enemy's groin or bring a fleeing foe to the ground with a flurry of hamstring-severing bites. The role of trailblazers is not technically an official rank, but Wildercorps wardens designate the most experienced of their troopers as such, trusting them to lead reconnaissance patrols and guide the main body of hunters ever onwards. Ranging ahead and inevitably the first to make contact with the enemy, trailblazers have honed their combat skills to a bleeding edge. They usually favor a combination of crossbow pistol in one hand and blade in the other, allowing them to deal with foes at any range, though some wield 2 crossbows, reloading and loosing so quickly that they can riddle a foe with half a dozen bolts in the blink of an eye. As a general rule, the Wildercorps hunters focus more on speed, adaptability and cunning than raw killing power. Often they perform their task best when the foe has no idea they are there. For those occasions when monstrous foes must be dispatched, however, many sections have a hunting arbalist ready to unleash javelin-sized missiles with pinpoint accuracy. This compact war machine is too large and powerful to be cranked and loosed from the shoulder, so it must instead be mounted upon a light ironwood frame by a specially trained arbalister, much like a man-portable ballista. Duardin engineered to perfection, the arbalist hurls its bolt with force enough to punch straight through an ogre's gut plate. Few soldiers survive the secondment to the Wildercorps for long enough to be counted as veterans, or leatherhides, as their most experienced warriors are known, in reference to their heat-baked and battle-toughened flesh. Those who do are of incalculable value, for they have trudged, hacked and crawled through some of the most hostile environments imaginable, and crossed blades with cannibals, devious grots and skeletal champions alike. Such experiences have given these warriors a tough skin and a steely assurance that steadies their comrades in the midst of battle. They have mastered the core weapons of the Wildercorps arsenal, from the trusty crossbow to crossbarred pontoons that keep slavering beasts at bay. The life of a Wildercorps scout is unremittingly harsh, even by the grim standards of the God King's mortal infantry. Fighting ahead of the crusade in enemy-occupied lands, theirs is a lonely Spartan existence. Long stretches of lung-searing exertion are punctuated by sudden flurries of desperate violence, without even the prospect of a gambling den or a fresh steam wagon of victuals to salve their pain. Scouts are tough, wiry and ruthless, looking only to each other and their trusty dogs for protection. With grit, stubbornness and well-aimed crossbow bolts, they conquer every trial put before them, ensuring that SIGMAR's armies always enter battle forewarned and well-positioned to inflict maximum punishment on their foes. In order for the Wildercorps to field fierce, durable beasts that could survive the wilds of the realms, some of the most aggressive canines of the Gurish plains were crossbred with Assyrite guard dogs, giving rise to the ferocious hunting hounds known as trailhounds.
Despite its modest stature, a trailhound's body is a compact block of pure muscle and sinew that allows it to run for days and drag down prey twice its size. Its jaws can clamp down so hard that they can puncture metal and pierce bone, and once it has seized a limb between its teeth, the hounds will not release its grip, even in death. A keen nose and an intense loyalty round off the breed's many supreme qualities. Wilder-cor soldiers feed their beloved beasts a diet of severed Oruk fingers to give them a taste for the flesh of cruel boys and iron yaws, some of the hunter's most familiar and despised foes. Such are the trailhound's strengths that the breed has been exported across the realms. It is a mark of the creature's doughty nature that they have thrived everywhere the Wildercorps have put them into action.
This is Mats again, chiming in to thank you for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and comment, and to not miss out on future content, ring the bell as well. And if you really liked this video, feel free to click the thanks button just below this video. And if you want to support me even further, you can now become a channel member and claim the title of Critical Focus Fan. Until next time, take care, bye.